another tag, and that is the Your Life in Books tag. I don't know who originally did this, but I will find out and link them below, unless it's not there anymore. The last tag I did, the person that originally did it like doesn't make YouTube videos anymore, but I will still try. So what are you doing? And I didn't like prep for this, but I feel like I should have, because I feel like it involves getting up and I'm not set up for that. Okay, so there are 8 questions, and so question number 1 is find a book for each of your initials. So my initials are HMH. Let's see if I can do this without standing up. So I'm gonna do just titles, I think. So H. The Hating Game. M. My Pleasures. And H. And what are you doing? No, no. How about you help me find, oh, another H. Okay. So I have H, The Hating Game. M for Midnight Pleasures with a Scoundrel, and Heart of the Sea by Nora Roberts. Let me put these back. So, not so fun fact, I'm from Rochester, New York, and there was a serial killer. I think when like I was alive. I'm pretty sure I was like pretty young, and he would kill young girls, like 10, 11 I think, and he specifically killed them. His like target demographic was young girls who had the same initials, so like I have HH, my first and last name, and then specifically like if they were from a suburb with that same town. So like if I was from like some suburbs of Rochester that start with H, are like Holly, which everyone in Rochester thinks I'm from Holly for some reason. It's just my name. I am not from there. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just not from there. And then Hilton, Henrietta, like that kind of thing. So thank God I'm not from Holly, and I was born later, I guess. So editing Holly, I just like Googled the murders, because this is what you're really here for, right? So I Googled the murders just to see if my information was correct. So I was off on the time period. It was definitely before I was born. It was in the early 70s. I was born in 1988. But I was right about everything else. And apparently there is I knew there was a movie. I remember them shooting it here. They shot some of it here. And it stars Eliza Dushku and Carrie Elways, who I also love. So it's cool. Maybe I should watch it. Maybe I won't, because I'm a baby. And it might or might not be a book, I think. But I think 3 women were murdered, and the killer has never been found or identified, in case you wanted to know. So yeah, not fun fact, but fact. Count your age along your bookshelf. Which book is it? So which bookshelf? Okay, we'll do this one, I guess, and I am 30. 2, 3, 4, 5, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And it is Tangled Up in You by Rachel Gibson. I haven't read this in forever. This is contemporary romance, though. I think that's all Rachel Gibson wrote. Excuse me, do you see this? Can I at least share the chair with you? Maybe? Okay, we can't do this. I weigh too much for us to share a chair. Because your 10 pounds of weight is really gonna... Come on. Hey, don't get feisty with me. Don't get feisty. Hey, no. Please hold. Cat parents. I'm probably not like stern enough, but whatever. Okay. Number 3, pick a book set in your city, state, country. Okay, so country is easy because I live in the United States. Even state is really easy because unfortunately I live in New York. So New York State is very, or New York City is very popular of a place to feature stories. I know that there is a book that takes place in Rochester. I read it forever ago, but I don't own it. I can't even remember the title of it. I'm trying to think. Oh, you know what? Because I don't want to do a New York City one. Where is... So, Bitten by Kelly Armstrong. It does not take place in Rochester, but it takes partially place in Toronto, but it takes place in like upstate New York. Like, I think it takes place in kind of like the Syracuse area. So yeah, that's not that far away. So how about Bitten by Kelly Armstrong, so we don't have to go with New York City. I should also clarify, like, I don't hate New York City, and if you're from there, that's great, and if you live there, that's great. But it's really frustrating as a New Yorker to go anywhere outside of New York and have people ask where you're from, and you say New York, and they say, oh, the city, or they just assume the whole state is like really close to the city. And I'm sure other states have stuff like this too. And it's like, no, I'm like 8 hours away from the city. It's just like kind of like a New Yorker pet peeve. Also, New York is not part of New England. Also a pet peeve. Number 4, pick a book that represents a destination you would like to travel to. Oh, okay. Ooh. So, now there's like 2 I want to pick. Okay, I'm gonna do both of them just because I can. Whatever, it's my channel. I can do whatever I want. I'm an adult. I'm listening to, this will be like a nobody will know cut of life. But I listen to Survivor podcast, which is really funny because I don't watch Survivor anymore. Really, I watch like old seasons. But stop it. Stop it. You're gonna ruin my lighting. But I listen to like some podcasts that talk about old seasons, and so one I listen to is Dom and Colin. So they do podcasts for like the current seasons of Survivor, but they have a Patreon, which I am a part of, and right now they're talking about Survivor Guatemala, which is season 11. Yeah, 11. And it's not a very popular season of Survivor, but I love it. I think it's a great season. I'm so glad they're covering it because it's one of my favorites, and I'm so happy because the like 100 other patrons like voted for it too, and they were surprised that Guatemala won. Whatever. But the episode I just listened to, they were talking about this one character, and there's like these 2 like alpha-y southern guys, and they keep fighting, and at one point I think they're at tribal council. Stop it, Murphy. He just freaking, I have clothespins out, and he like keeps biting them and then breaking them. Stop it. And at one point, one guy says something, and the other guy is like, he's like, why are you doing this? And the other guy's like, because I can, and I will, and I want to. And that was my really bad southern accent. And I think that line is so funny, and it just made me think of that when I was talking about this. Anyways, so the first book that came to mind and the location that I want to go is Russia. And so I picked The Romanov Prophecy by Steve Barry. I read this forever ago. I've read it multiple times. It's like, I've never read these books, but it makes me think of like Tom Clancy, that kind of thing, where it's like a political sort of mystery thriller kind of thing. This particular book is about like this idea that I think Anastasia specifically survived the assassination of the last Romanovs and escaped and like had kids, and so now people are trying to find those heirs so that they can like be reinstated as like monarchs or whatever. Anyway, so it spends some time in Russia, and I have always wanted to go to Russia. I'm fascinated with Russia. My dad does not want me to go to Russia. Whenever I talk about it, he's like, don't go there. He thinks that like I'll die or something. I don't know. And then the other place I picked about The Bollywood Bride by Sonali Dev. So part of this book does take place in India, and it features Indian American and Indian characters. And I have always wanted to go to India. I think India is just like a beautiful country. Like I love like how colorful and how different from here it is. And I just think it's a really fascinating place and with fascinating people, and I would love to go someday. I think that would be awesome. I'm such a baby, and I like am petrified to go anywhere where they don't speak English, because like I'm so nervous that I'd like offend somebody. So maybe I'll do it. Maybe if Disney does like Adventures by Disney in India or Russia, I would go, because then they can like help me not be a fool. Number 5, pick a book that's your favorite color. Okay, so my favorite color is blue, and I really like a, not like a Tiffany blue, but like close, but like a sky blue kind of a color. Let's see if there is one. So yeah, like this blue color on the Island by Tracy Garvis Graves. I mean, I like pretty much any blue, but I like that kind of blue. Which book do you have the fondest memories of? I'm so tempted to go with The Secret Garden, but I'm not going to. And I'm not going to go get the other book because it's kind of far away. So, but I'm going to say The Hobbit. I've done a whole video. I used to do a series of videos called like Book Memories, I think is what it was called. And The Hobbit might have been the first one I ever did. Sorry about the tripod and the camera moving. It's the cat. And I'll try to link that video or that series below if I have it in a playlist if you want to check it out. My mother read The Hobbit to me when I was little, and she would read like a chapter to me every night, and so I just remember that very fondly, and it makes me like happy when I think of The Hobbit. And I've read The Hobbit a few times on my own as an adult and everything, but that's a really fond memory. Number 7, which book did you have the most difficulty reading? What's difficult? Like, I can't really think of anything. Like, if I'm not enjoying a book, I'm gonna put it down. Oh, you know what? I will say I don't own a copy of it. I really want one. Is Prisoner of Night and Fog by Anne Blankman. I'll put it here. That book was really hard to read. It's a beautiful book. I love it. Obviously I said I want a physical copy of it. I don't know if I'll ever reread it, but it was very hard for me to read emotionally. Like it's a doozy, I feel like, of a book. It takes place in Germany, like pre-Holocaust and like leading into that time period and everything, and it's just really hard to read about people treating people that way. I think it's important to read stuff like that, but it is really hard. Like, I want to read a lot of Ruta Sepetys, is that how you say it? I want to read a lot of her books, but I feel like they're going to probably be really hard reads emotionally, and so I have to be like in the right place for that. Okay, and the last one, which book in your TBR pile will give you the biggest sense of accomplishment when you finish it? Okay, my TBR stack is over here. Murphy, which book will I be the most accomplished to have read? Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be this one. So I feel like it's gonna be this one, Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister by Gregory Maguire, which I just talked about in my fall TBR, which I think was up like a week or two ago. Just because I think on my current TBR, this is the book that has been there the longest. I have had this since like 2010 or something, like 2009, 2010. So to finally accomplish this will definitely be something. Whether I finish it or not, I don't care, but at least to attempt it and then either unhaul and DNF or read it will be a big deal. Like, I think that book might be older than my YouTube channel. I don't know. So that is the My Life in Books, filled with random ass tangents from Holly. So thank you so much for watching. Maybe you learned something about me, I don't know, and I will see you next time. Bye.